Welcome to Switch to Linux. We are doing a little bit of an early news. Sorry to folks that didn't catch that we changed the time for today. It was just had some other things to do later on this evening. And we're going to talk about Amazon, the good, the bad, the ugly, and the weird. If you happen to notice my thumbnail, yes, that was ground beef Amazon logos. Anyway, welcome to the weekly news roundup, where we cover some fun news in the privacy and technology and just crazy, weird businessy stuff every week. Usually Fridays, usually 9 or 11. If I have to head out of town or anything, then I sometimes do it earlier. Or if I have other crazy big projects, I sometimes do it earlier. So, let's see. We're going to talk today. I have some articles on privacy. Obviously, some Amazon articles, a little bit of security. We're going to have a little bit of scams, a couple of bad business, a few comments on net neutrality. So, greetings to everybody who is currently online. JJ Game, how's it going there? Ryan, hello. KO2610, your time has come. We're going to go ahead here and jump into the news. We are going to go ahead and start with our privacy articles. So this is exciting. Uber back in the news. It's like I become so desensitized to Uber that it's like when I see things, it's just like, yeah, what else bad is Uber doing? And at some point in time, when is it news? They're always doing silly things. So now, one of the things that people were complaining about before is with the Uber issue is that, as soon as you get dropped off from your Uber, the app continues to track you for a while. Well, now they are having the ability to disable that feature. So, they bill it as, hey, we just want to make sure that everyone's being safe. And, really it was kind of a way to say, hey, where's everybody going after they're getting dropped off by their Uber? And it was kind of a little creepy. And so now they will have some extra options. Do they have them in this one? This doesn't look like it. No, Kitty wants to come say hi. Hello, everybody. I hope you enjoy switching to Linux. All right, so the options that they are now giving you in the app, I thought they had a picture here, but the options they give you in the app is you can have it track you all the time. Yay. Only when the app is running, or I think there's a third option there as well. But regardless, Uber is now, they are now going to stop tracking absolutely everything, just most everything, So that's kind of what Uber does. So, and then, of course, the next thing we want to look at is beware of the expansion of all things Google. So basically, third-party Google Assistant speakers put OK Google in pretty much everything. Tiny form factors. It would not surprise me to start seeing some micro little chip that you can just, espionage chip that you could, maybe like, I don't know, I was geocacher before. So, we used to find fake screws. You can open up a screw and there's a little geocache in there. Man, get a fake screw, attach a micro speaker into there, screw that into the bottom of somebody's desk. Replacing one of the screws that they had, you have a completely hidden espionage device. Because the scary thing about this OK Google Assistant is it actually has the ability to identify you based upon your words. And so, over here, since they added the multiple account support, the OK Google can distinguish users by voice. So what happens then if Google is creating the same shadow profiles that Facebook does? We don't know who this guy is, but we're just going to, every time we hear something, we're going to collect everything that they say and put it as a John Doe number, John Doe 7221, whatever. And then what's going to happen is we're going to constantly have this Google building up profiles on people who've chosen not to have a Google Assistant account. And this is just getting to the scary point where now these third parties are putting these speakers into things that are getting cheaper and cheaper, and there's just so many devices that can now implement these Google Now, like those are pretty small. So there's just a lot of different things that you can now do, and it's just getting scary with all these voice technologies that I don't want to enter a room if I see one of these smart speakers or a Windows 10 computer with Cortana turned on for that matter. And so it kind of begs this interesting question of who is using all these technologies and why? Why? Would you guys use these things? I mean, let me know. What do you think? So, Carbon Programmer, how's it going there? Hello. Bought a BlackBerry off Amazon, supposedly unopened. I hope it's not a scammer. Yeah, I generally don't have many problems with ordering things on Amazon. We'll talk more about that when we get to our Amazon section. Spider Eyes, how's it going? Hello to you as well. So, here's a fun thing. Considering all of the fun ways to pay, I mean, what's up with this? With having to carry these pesky smartphones around? Over in China now, you can now pay by smiling at the screen. That's so exciting, isn't it? Oh boy, you can now go smile at the screen. Yay, take my face profile. Biometrically tracked to your accounts, and now you have that fun ability to pay for your KFC order with your face. I don't know. Of course, if you're unaware of it, KFC is actually huge in China. It's practically worshipped. So it's not surprising that this is, I mean, if you think of KFC, huh? Well, it's because in China, KFC is huge. There's entire like holidays around KFC. It's kind of funny. But this is kind of creepy. Now you have to go in here and enter a mobile phone number to verify the identity, but that will allow you to pay for your meals now. That's just getting creepier and creepier and creepier. But I'll tell you, what about all this data collection and all this thing? I didn't have a good tie-in article, but with everything collecting your data, with all the ISPs, all of the businesses, all of the third-party resources, all of these things, all collecting all your information, what have I been saying all along? What have I been saying all along about the problem with this data collection? Because I'm not concerned necessarily of the government thing. I should probably be, but I'm not. I'm concerned with the businesses. Why? Because all the businesses are trying to do is find the thing that piques your temptation. Shocking. Gambling industry is utilizing all of this ability to target people who specifically struggle with gambling addictions. If you look up a bunch of bad websites on your computers, you'll start seeing advertisements for that type of stuff. This is scary. And this is the reason, by the way, why I'm not a huge fan of Sheets anymore. I used to like going to Sheets a lot. I'll still go there, but not nearly as much, because they were the ones that led the way to introduce alcohol into gas stations and grocery stores in Pennsylvania. And I think that's a bad deal, because right now, if you are a struggling or recovering alcoholic, you don't have a place where you can go anymore. And they made it so much worse. Like, if you follow the crazy liquor laws in the United States, I don't know how many of you guys are United States or not, but Pennsylvania was completely archaic until just a few years ago. You had to go to a state-sponsored store if you wanted hard liquor. You had to go to a beer distributor if you wanted beer. Gas stations, grocery stores, you couldn't get anything alcoholic. And frankly, I like that approach. It's a good compromise. You can still buy your alcohol, but you're not tempted by walking into the grocery store. Milk, eggs, and why not the beer, because I'm a recovering alcoholic and I'm having a weak moment. All right? And so most other places, like I've lived out west, I've traveled all around the country, almost everywhere where you could buy beer in a gas station, it still was a separate location in the gas station. The places you could get it in a grocery store, it's still a separate location in the grocery store. Now in Pennsylvania, it's gotten so crazy. Here's your Coke, here's your beer, right next to each other. No separation, no anything. So Pennsylvania went from being good to so far the other way, I can't even stand the state anymore. Not that I struggle with it. I am a non-drinker. I don't drink at all. I think drinking is stupid. I am not a prohibitionist. I support your right to drink if you are of legal age. But we have to recognize in society there are people who have realized drinking has destroyed me. It has destroyed my family. It has destroyed my life. And I have to work extra hard to not struggle with those temptations. And now when I go to get my milk and eggs or gas up my car, I am perpetually hit by the beer right next to the checkout. And that is driving the desires, the temptations, and the addictions of people so bad. Now, the gambling industry is using those exact same biomarkers to track down who are the people addicted to gambling. And we're going to push ads at them to push them right back into that addiction. And this is why all marketed targeting, like all targeting of advertisement, all data collection, every bit of this stuff should be absolute opt-in with an absolute way to say, I am removing my data from your system, and that better be a countrywide, every company, any company caught with my data after I've said you must delete it, close them down. Because this is what happens. Because we are in a corporatocracy with minimal crap. In fact, we're going to get to another article when we get to our scammer section that just pisses me off even more than that. But this is what's happening in our reality. This is about how much can you tempt the consumer to separate them from their money. This is not about what's good for the consumer. This is not about a symbiotic relationship. This is treating every human being on this planet, with no exception, as a price point. We're going to do everything we can to separate that guy from his money because we want his money. And this is detrimental to society. And not only these guys, we can all be mad at these guys. Oh, these gambling companies are targeting ex-gamblers. Yeah, it works for every industry. Targeted advertising should be absolute opt-in, period. Let's have a look at comments. They were kind of going crazy after that. Oh, the kitty. I think the kitty's over there in the window. Let me find the kitty comment. Can't see the kitty for where he's at right now. Go back over here. All right. Oh, boy. If you throw up after eating your KFC, does it detect that and give you an automatic refund? No, of course not. We got your money, man. Your problem. You got a weak stomach. Yeah? There's a joke that in Russia you could pay a ticket by squatting X times. Huh. Interesting. We were promised no more school taxes if we allowed gambling. Didn't happen. Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, I'm in the same state. Now you can buy your liquor at any place, right next to your Coca-Cola, which I don't drink that crap either. Yeah, we got gambling in the state now. We were supposed to get away with all those school taxes, and all they've done is gone up. Absolutely. Absolutely. If that's a joke, can you explain it? Because I don't get it. What's the joke? I don't know. Something about slaves and squatting. I don't know. Okay. Speaking of addiction, another substance that can induce addictions is sugar. Yes, and that's why. Absolutely. Sugar is detrimental and toxic. You need to figure out how to get it out of your life. We know that drugs have an escalated effect that leads to addiction. Yes. In fact, if you take a person on the concept of cross addiction, meaning that if you're addicted to one thing, and you get exposed to a substance that is also an addictive substance, you will become automatically addicted to that other substance as well. Hello, Albert Crow. How's it going there? But I love dark chocolate. Actually, dark chocolate doesn't have nearly as much sugar. The darker the chocolate, it's actually fairly healthy as long as it doesn't have nearly as much sugar. So the darker the chocolate, actually, the better it is. Sugar is addictive, or even more addictive than cocaine. Yeah, there's actually a lot of studies that suggest that. A lighter, but I see you no longer need one. Oh, I was going to offer you a lighter. Yeah, I need to go on fire here soon. Okay, sugar is a cause of obesity, heart attacks, strokes, cardiovascular disease. Exactly. Yes, sugar is actually the cause of those. Fat does not cause those problems. Fat actually reduces those problems, eating fat. And the more saturated animal fat, the better. The less vegetable oil you eat, the better. Vegetable oil is like pretty much pure toxic. I'm not sure which one's worse for you, that or the sugar, but the sugar is actually the cause of this, because it causes, what sugar does is it causes your LDL packets to get smaller and more dense. Excuse me, more dense. Let's see. What happens is you get a shift in your LDL from the high density to the low density. So the LDL, and then you end up getting the VLDL, the very low density LDLs. In which case, those are the things that induce the inflammation that actually causes your arteries to weaken out, build a lot of issues. So if you actually eat more fat, it'll actually cause your cholesterol in many places to go down, but it will cause a major shift in the HDL will go up, LDL will go down, and that is the healthier state. You want that ratio of HDL to LDL to shift. Eating sugar reverses it in the dangerous direction. Eating fat brings it back to the healthy direction. Don't mean to take you off topic, but I can't decide if I want an LXDE or LXQT. What are your thoughts? I'm not sure exactly all the difference between them, because neither one of those are desktop environments I generally use. I do have LXDE running on my Ubuntu distro, and I honestly don't really like it very much. But I don't know if anybody else in here can comment on the difference. Please go ahead. I don't mind. Definitely don't mind taking off topic to talk about Linux. Absolutely. Right to the sugar thing. Try not to buy lots of stuff, biscuits, chocolate, sweets when I shop. Sometimes there's nothing in the house. I'll start wanting tea because I have sugar in it. Yep. I have a casino 10 miles away from me here in Maryland. Yep. Definitely subconsciously craving at play there. Okay. You say, I don't drink that crap. I was opening a can of Coke. Yeah. Unsaturated fats are good. Yeah, as long as you don't ever want to heat an unsaturated fat, though. Heating an unsaturated fat, because it means it has your cis bonds, and heating it will actually cause a transification, because the trans fat is a more stable conformation than a cis fat, and heating it loosens the double bond and causes the shift. So if you do have unsaturated fats, they are good to eat, like olive oil and things like that, but you don't ever want to cook them is the problem. No, saturated fats are extremely healthy. Trans fats are unhealthy. Some states even made it illegal for restaurants to use in their food. The unfortunate thing, though, is that trans fats are created by heating unsaturated fats, which they have to use, which is the danger part. Anyway, let's go ahead and back to some more articles. We're going to go ahead and have some fun Amazon discussions, of course. Yeah, Whole Foods is now making Amazon logos out of ground beef, and this is just disturbing. Of course, this is where I kind of stole my logo from here for today. But yeah, so Amazon and Whole Foods are Amazon bought Whole Foods, so now you can go to Whole Foods and you can buy your Amazon stuff. They lowered some prices on some things, bring people in, and then now you can buy an Amazon Echo in Whole Foods, which makes just total perfect sense. So that's kind of what you get there. So yeah, here's some nice Amazon meat logo stuff. Anyway, the reason I want to talk about Amazon is a couple new things. So I did want to finally place an order. So I placed an order for a camera that I'm going to use for my outdoor philosophies and some things on my Christian channel. Which, by the way, I did post another video on Wednesday on the Christian channel, if you haven't been following that one at Our Walk in Christ. But I wanted to go ahead and place an order, and I wanted to experiment with using cash. So I threw everything in my shopping cart and then went over and wanted to ship the thing. But of course now, thanks to probably Samsung, I can no longer ship things to my post office box. And so I did some looking around, and wouldn't you know it, right here in State College, we now have a new pickup store. So you can now go and add, basically what you have to do is add this location. So you go to amazon.com/State College, and probably the same for your city if you have one of these. And then you click the button when you're logged into your Amazon account, and it will add that store to your shipping locations. So I went in there into the cart and I clicked ship it to the store location. Doesn't cost anything extra. And then I figured out what the price was. I went down to, I did Sheets, but I found out CVS also participates. So I'm going to use CVS in the future. I have less qualms with them. So went into there. I dropped cash for the amount of the order. Now, the problem with Amazon is they're not telling you what the total cost of the order is before your checkout. So you kind of have to do some estimations. And in my case, it didn't give me the correct order amount initially, and that caused a few problems. But what I did is I went in and I dropped cash on the gift card. And then you enter the gift card, and in my case, I was $1 under because they didn't give me the right amount because of the extra tax and stuff that it didn't tell me until it was time to actually check out. So I went back onto Amazon.com. I had a laptop with me, so I went out in the parking lot of the Sheets, Amazon.com, and then you can go and click the button to refill your gift card, and they will mail you a barcode. So then I got the barcode in my email. I sent that over to the phone, and then I just went right back into Sheets, pulled the barcode up, dropped another $5 in cash. So I have like a $3 some balance now. So I was able to go into Amazon, buy an order with cash, use it immediately, process the order, and ship it to the location. So now what that means is you can now order from Amazon with cash and have it picked up at a store location, so I could even take my address off of Amazon now. That is a big win. And that is a cool win, though as much as Amazon does frighten me in many places, and we will get into those in a bit, they are also doing things that as a privacy-centric person, I can now order things on Amazon, pay cash for it, and pick it up in an in-store location without having to flash IDs and give them my address and location and things like that. That's a big win. I think that that's a big win. And now, of course, the downside is you go into the store and you get your 6-month free student prime trial and you get all this kind of stuff. So, of course, they're trying to upsell all your junk, but not a big fan of all that stuff. But regardless, it is very cool now that I can now go in. So I just placed the order yesterday. I'll let you guys, give you guys an update when it comes in, maybe do an unboxing of the camera that I got. So we'll go ahead and update with you. Probably, I'm guessing maybe next week-ish I should get that in. So we'll see. But anyway, that is what you can now do with Amazon, which is kind of cool. Now, of course, it's like Amazon's not like the best place in the world. And also, full disclosure / partial advertisement. If you do shop on Amazon and you'd like to help support Switch to Linux, there is a link in the description below, and you can actually click on there, do your whole Amazon thing, and then a portion of your sale will come back to help us what we do here. Now, this is the scary part. Now, that was the good part. Now, Amazon, like a lot of companies, a smart company targets the students. This is why Apple is still alive. Because when I was a kid, Apple computers were all over the place inside of inside of the schools. Pretty much, you went to school, you learned on Apple, and then you left school, and then you had to relearn all your computer stuff on PC because nobody outside the school system ever used Mac, and everybody inside the school system only used Mac. So you had that issue. But what that did is that caused that brand loyalty to Mac as the kids grew up using the Apple computers in the school. And that's one of the only reasons they still exist as a company. Well, the iPhone, and the fact that Microsoft gave them a loan so that Microsoft didn't have monopoly charges. But Target, of course, is doing this. Amazon is doing this. Why did we get one of these, and why is it right downtown State College? Very simply, because this thing is 1 block from Penn State main campus, and they're pushing the student prime accounts. They want to get students addicted to Amazon early, so what are they doing? Now they're putting Echo smart speakers on campus. So they're experimenting with this. This is Arizona State University, so ASU. They gave 1,600 Echo Dots to engineering students living in the new dorm called the Tucker House. So if you go in the Tucker House, just don't go in there. There's too much Amazon listening to you. By the way, for that reason, I don't even have Amazon app on my phone. I don't trust they're not listening to me and wanting to do Alexa crap in the app either. So anyway, so ASU's main motivation was to develop an opportunity for its engineering students to gain skills in voice technology, an emerging field, and to get brand loyalty to Amazon. Anyway, a little bit of voice technology to the curriculum of 3 existing courses this semester. The students who receive the Echo Dots will not all be required to take these courses. They are literally a gift. And this is the danger, because now Amazon wants to introduce the technology. So there was a time I had 2 different smartphones. Now I have one smartphone for my personal use, and I have a dumb phone for my business now. This used to be my Samsung Galaxy, which when it died, I decided, no, I'm done. I'm done with having those. Now when the Apple dies, when the iPhone dies, I'm going back to an Amazon unless Linux has some phone out there, which, by the way, check out Brian Lunduke's show last week or earlier this week, and he actually had, there was a company looking to produce an entire Debian, exclusively Debian phone running a full GNOME shell, full Linux phone with a kill switch for all cellular actions. So you can literally toggle the kill switch. The phone cannot interact with the cellular services. That is an awesome device. I'd love to see it coming in. It's coming in, I think they said, like a $600 price point. So we're going to look at that. And also, if you're interested in following that, not just that one, I forget who the company, like Purism, I think is the company that is, if I remember correctly. But the Ubuntu Touch project was picked up by an extra group of independent developers. So the Ubuntu Touch actually now has more phones it's compatible with, and more phones on their radar. So you can look into those. We won't have the links or talk much more about them. But here's the thing, is that when I had 2 smartphones on there, this is where I was going with this, I couldn't even imagine that time when I was back down to just one smartphone. Because what happens, and when that broke, I was thinking, oh, I should get another. No, why do I want to get another Android? No. It takes some difficulty when you have an extra computer and it finally breaks. It takes some difficulty to not want to replace it. And that's what Amazon is doing. They're giving these devices out to hook an entire group of students onto having one of these ever-connected speakers that's constantly listening and analyzing their voice. This to me is dangerous. This to me is dangerous. And I do not like this. This is scary to me. I'm turry about this. And if this is not freaky enough, Amazon is now allying with Cortana, taking on Google Assistant and Siri. I have serious questions about this. So the idea is, if you are next to an Amazon Echo device or any device running Alexa, you can use it to interact with your Cortana system. And if you're doing anything on Cortana, you can use it to interact with anything on your Alexa system. My ultimate question is, now Microsoft and Amazon are third parties to each other. Are they sharing data? Because if they are sharing data, I want to opt out of the ability to do that. Because I am de-Microsofting my life. I want nothing more to do with Microsoft. They have demonstrated to me that they are a scary company. And I am very, very, very concerned about this. Because with Amazon and Microsoft teaming up with their voice things, what data are they sharing back and forth? Is this another way for each of these companies to share every bit of data about every user that they have? And I have that question. That's kind of freaky to me. That really is. Ah, boy. People have become so obsessed with brands, they have made them their life. Yes. So glad I switched to Debian Sid with KDE. Yep, that's my Debian with KDE back behind me. You can't see it right now. The comment window's in the way, but it's done pretty well. By the way, I'm thinking I still like the Linux Mint KDE better. That one's a little slower, a little less responsive, but everything works. I'm still having issues on my Debian KDE that aren't working right. Let's see. Hey, Charles, how's it going? Instead of ingraining Microsoft and Apple into my life. Yeah. Yep, absolutely. Okay. I've been with Microsoft stuff since Windows 3.11, but 8.1 is the limit for me, and even that I am not happy with. Started using Mint about a year ago. Don't want to dump MS, but see no other choice. Yep. Debian SID is unstable, not as bad as it sounds. Yeah, I mean, even stable Debian is generally pretty stable. I mean, they make sure it's like completely solid as a rock before they call it stable, and that means it's just about as stable as any other Linux distro. All my developer experience with the MS systems, I like doing my own projects for myself, so there's a reinvestment need to get up to speed. Well, the other thing, though, you could do is, Windows itself will not respect if you go into the host file on Windows 10, it will not respect you blocking the telemetry. But if you block it one layer up on your home router, it will. And so if you can block all that stuff on your router with like pfSense or something, you can run the Windows 10 without as much concern. Of course, they're constantly changing those. But the other fun thing that you could do is you could literally, like, I know a lot of people that are Linux users that also need to use Windows. They just spin up Windows inside of a Linux distro on VirtualBox. That usually works for them. So that's something you could try. So I left school using Apple computers, which places dependency on a corporate brand. Well, right now though, in the schools, it's Google is the big thing, and that's the scary part. Because I was having, I don't know if he's on today or not watching, but a friend of mine was just telling me yesterday that now the Chromebooks are even doing more things. They've locked him out from being able to use Start Page, so he can't use the browser. Which, if you are watching, don't forget, try DuckDuckGo. See if DuckDuckGo works, even if Start Page doesn't. I'm curious to know that. Not my forte, but I'd rather use DuckDuckGo than Google, for sure. And now it's forcing you to update the system every time you get out. And so I was like, put a piece of tape over that camera. No see me. Okay. But yeah, now though they're pushing that Google brand, it gets to that point where you don't even know how to interact with a real computer system anymore. That was Google's plan, is to get you so used to interacting with the cloud servers, you do not even know what dealing with files is anymore. And that's something that we need to keep in track of. I'd rather touch a Windows PC than an Apple. Yeah, I think I'm with you on that. At least Windows is usable. Can't wait for a phone that I can install Linux OS. I want to know exactly what my phone is doing and don't have to use a Google account. Yeah, I mean, check out the Ubuntu one, because there's like 5 phones now you can get that the Ubuntu Touch can be ported onto now. And some of them are getting pretty cheap, so I kind of want to experiment with it a little bit. I have to change cellular carriers if I do that, which for me, I'll gladly do. I just haven't had the time and the opportunity to pick up one such phone. Like, one of them is a OnePlus One. I think now the OnePlus 2, maybe at the end of this show we'll get onto that and see if we can look it up. But yeah. Tech companies just want to sell information. Yep, that's it. High school uses Chromebooks. Yep. Wind blows in a little VM cage. Yep, like the man, little vicious biting. Yep, yep. I avoid Chromebooks and Apple devices like the plague. Yeah. I mean, I find that Apple devices, when you tell it not to phone home and stuff, it doesn't phone home. And I've confirmed that on Wireshark and router logs and things. I am more secure. I feel better on an Apple device and an Android device, but I'm going to get Android devices I can custom ROM out and do things like that and see what I can do. Anyway, let's go ahead and our next section is on security. We'll just go ahead and keep the same privacy one. So back onto some security stuff. This is exciting. We're looking at some botnet traffic came in the form of Google apps. I think this one, I might have touched on this one last week. I don't remember, but I decided I'd go ahead and bring it on again. So this is an APK inside of about 300 apps inside of the actual Google Play Store. So don't think that just because it's in the Google Play Store, it's a good thing. 300 apps downloaded several times end up all being co-opted into a giant botnet to do DDoS disruption attacks. Whoops. Then of course, yeah, this was a fun one. A hotel hacker. This guy here, there's a global vulnerability in hotel key card locks. This guy was able to get in here, basically wrote an algorithm. He was able to get into any hotel room with the traditional card key locks. Create it, get in there, access anything in there, go on into the hotel rooms and basically leave absolutely no trace, no data backup, no anything. So keep that in mind. In hotels, if something goes missing, it may not be the crazy maid. It might very well just be some hacker, because we put too much stuff on this kind of stuff. And then, of course, make sure that if you happen to have a pacemaker, these can now be hacked. So basically, they had some radio frequency interactions that they definitely proved a concept of, proof of concept that these pacemakers could actually be hacked. It'd be kind of scary if your pacemaker was connecting to your Wi-Fi network and cooperating in a botnet, but even worse is someone could come in and block it. So if you know anybody using any of these pacemakers, make sure they're aware of this, keep up to date on this, and just check out the FTC page and consult with your doctor if you happen to know anyone using any of these pacemakers. So just keep that in mind. Now, about some security stuff. Those are all things that are just kind of out there. Let's get a little bit personal. Let's be careful with how many social accounts we have. Just because a social media site exists doesn't mean you need an account on it. And some of these things are not particularly secure at all times. So in this case, this is a Instagram hack. So the concept here is that the error was actually in an old version of the app, but it had a component of the server. So the hackers had an old version of the app, which if you selected the password reset mod, they could interrupt the traffic with a man-in-the-middle attack, insert whatever username they wanted, and by the hackers having an old version of the app, they could actually access the database and reset any user's password and gain access to the account. And so by doing this, now, the thing is that the bug had to be manually executed. There was no way to run an automated script, at least we don't think. But it turns out that these guys were very active, because there was a site that was found on the darknet that charged $10 per search. They had 10,000 Instagram user profiles, either the phone number or the email address of individual usernames. So basically, you take somebody's username, run it through this app, through this hack, through the old app, and you could uncover it. Now, this, I believe they said it is now fixed, but you could actually get in here and access people's usernames or phone numbers, basically, or emails or phone numbers if you had their username. So it was a very intriguing hack. So something to keep in mind. Be careful with your social media accounts, and because it's not always just your security, it's just the presence that you have the thing could be just as insecure as anything else. So just kind of keep that in mind. Only way I'd run Windows 10 is disconnected from the network. Yeah, I've locked mine down pretty good, and I would just use Windows 10 but just not put anything personal on it. KDE Mobile. Yeah, if you can port Ubuntu Touch onto a phone, I liked the look and the style and the design of the KDE Mobile way better than I like the Ubuntu version, but you had to have the Ubuntu on it first. So to be clear, the KDE Mobile goes on top of the Ubuntu Touch. So if that's something you're looking into, you do need to make sure you have a phone compatible with the Ubuntu Touch. Although I haven't looked at their site in a while, so I don't know if maybe they've changed that since I've looked at it yet. Greedy companies just want to lock people out of alternatives so they can make more money. Yeah, and that's why they buy up companies, just to kill them and tie them up. Why do companies have to connect every little thing to the internet? Because they're dumb. What is KDE Mobile? KDE Mobile was it's a mobile touch system. Let me look it up real quick. See if anything has changed. Like I said, I haven't been to their site in quite a long time. Yep. So here is the KDE Mobile. So basically, it's a KDE phone build, which I don't know if how well it's working, but basically here's the various apps that it works, and then to get these working, let's see if I can find the devices. Okay, so. So Nexus 5, Nexus 5X. So you can see here, it gives you all of the setup instructions on how to set everything up. Now, actually, was it yesterday's Lunduke show? It was a very good discussion in some of the things. Like, one of the challenges and imperative challenges with the Linux phone is what apps can it have. Now, for me, this is the most attractive thing for me about the Linux phone possibility, because I use almost no apps. I want a phone that I can use a web browser, check my email, and use as a phone. That's what I'm looking for in a mobile phone that's Linux. Now, apps, sure, down the road aren't bad, and, you know, I'd like to see VLC, but a lot of the functionalities there, all we need is somebody to write the skins. And I'll tell you, if I had enough funding, like enough time, and like if I didn't have to dedicate as much time as I do to doing web design to pay my bills, I would gladly build skins for these. I'm a UX UI guy. I'm a CSS expert. That's what that stuff uses. So I would love to do some of that stuff. I just, you know, of course I really can't because I'm too busy paying my bills. But but anyway, this is a project I'm very interested in, just looking at what the thing looks like. But yeah, if you come over here and have a look at the phone, there's actually some videos and things, but, you know, and apparently there are some apps on here. There are ways to do music and things like that. So, that is certainly something to keep an eye out for. Let's just go ahead while I'm here and looking stuff up. Let's just go ahead and look up the Ubuntu one too. See if I can remember what the company is. I think it's UB Ports. Is this it? Yeah, I think this is it. UB Ports. So here's the core devices: a OnePlus One, a Fairphone 2, a Nexus 5, and then pre-release devices: Optimus L90, BQM10, and then there's some legacy devices as well. Some of these are phones, some of these are tablets. And these are development devices, so these are the ones they're working on. OnePlus 2, Nexus 5X. I'm guessing the Nexus 5X is the same one that you would use with the KDE. Let me go back up and look at the device models again. So yep, the 5 and 5X. So they're saying it's locked. So you do need to install Ubuntu Touch, I believe. I haven't read through the stuff in a while. But here, these are the experimental phones as well. So even the Galaxy S3 is one of the experimental phones. So this is, you know, the development is going here. This company took over the Ubuntu phone. So this is something. And while we're on the subject, let's just go ahead. See if I can find the other phone company we were looking at real quick. I think it's called Purism. Yep, Librem 5. So this is the one Brian Lenduke talked about the other day. This one here, if they can meet their project goal to make it, the downside, like the upside, is it's a new device, not an old device that you have to port it onto. It's a new device with kill switches, but it runs, you can see it's running Debian with GNOME. And apparently they have the device working very well. The price point is $600. So those are currently the options, and I'm excited to keep an eye on this market. So that's kind of a little foray into the Linux phones, I guess. Little unplanned Linux phone stuff. Matter of time before anything and everything can be hacked. Yes. I'm going to rewrite a BlackBerry OS using my own components so I can monitor what goes through it. Sweet. Hear about how Disney is making toys that communicate information with each other. That's just creepy. No, I did not. That's crazy. Why only Nexus devices supported? I have no idea. KDE Mobile supports tablets. I don't remember. I have no idea. I thought it was just phones. There were only 3 last time I looked. Looks like now only 2, maybe. I don't know. Some of the gadgets out there now, what they do to, quote, save time and, quote, make life easier. You have to wonder if we as humans are living lives properly if we need these little things. Yeah, that's true. It's very true. Linux OS for tablets. Actually, some of the, if you look through that list of Ubuntu One devices, many of those are actually tablets. But yeah, KDE on a tablet would be awesome. And honestly, GNOME has some good tablet and phone build as well. I'm not a huge fan of GNOME, but I would absolutely run a phone on GNOME. I would probably do KDE better, though. I mean, honestly, if I had my choice. But give me a Linux phone, people. Give me a Linux phone, please. It is on my list, though, to pick up one of the phones on the device and experiment with porting it and play with it, see if I can get it working. But I don't know. They're just limited in terms of apps and developers. Yep. If the toys can communicate, then that's all we need. They do not need apps to track kids. Yes. And that's why actually both Viacom, which runs Nickelodeon, and Disney are both involved in a class action lawsuit about basically over a COPA dispute about tracking their children's stuff. Yeah, GNOME Mobile does look pretty cool, I gotta say. Greetings from England. How's it going there? Like some of the pet toys that have cameras and exercise your dog while you're at work. Yeah, those are just kind of creepy to me, honestly. Anyway, let's go ahead and have a look at some of the scammy stuff. Where's my scam list? There's my scam list. There we go. Scammies. In the midst of this tragic hurricane, be very careful. Now, this is actually from FEMA site. This is the rumor control. So make sure that if you're hearing some crazy interesting thing about, hurricane, whatever, make sure that you come over to this Hurricane Harvey rumor control page from FEMA. Make sure it's not a scam. So you can see a lot of these. The one that actually led me onto this particular site is this flood insurance scam. So once again, as soon as this starts happening, the scammers are in full force and they're now robocalling to say your flood insurance is due. Pay now or you will not have your insurance. And this is a big deal because right now it's estimated only 20% of houses hit by this hurricane are actually going to be covered by insurance. 80% of people will have to pay out of pocket to fix their home because of this insurance. This company. This hurricane is. That's tragic, people. That's tragic. And, of course, this is the one that makes me hot. This is one of those tech support scammers. They, of course, had the ads that would kind of take over your computer with JavaScript saying, oh, we detected a virus, call this number, blah, blah, blah. $120 million was lost to this scamming company. What's their punishment? They have to pay $10 million back. And they get to keep operating. Yay! So literally what's happening here is that the victims lost a lot of money. The FTC hits them with a fine, and instead of pursuing legal action, they just slap them on the wrist. Don't do that again. They have to only pay back $10 million instead of $120 million because any more than that would hurt their business. And they're allowed to keep operating. They just can't lie anymore. Despite it was well known that they were pushing the fake products that did not do anything. Nothing. These things didn't do anything. So $10 million suit over this. And then, of course, how is the FTC alerting the people? Email. Please tell me this is not oh, wait, it is a government operation, isn't it? Email. Okay? Like the biggest place for spam. So you have to click a link in an email to fill out your information to get your 10% that you lost to the scammer. But they keep on being in business. They just don't lie anymore, Mr. Scammer. Just don't lie anymore. Guys, we need to take companies like this. We say, okay, you broke the law. You scammed $120 million out of people. Guess what? You're going to pay everybody back 3 times. So, no. $360 million is what we want back. And then we're going to throw you in jail for a while. Oh, you don't have that much money? Don't care. You're going to be in debt up to your eyeballs as long as you live on this planet. We're going to seize everything you own. Everything. And every investor you've ever had, every high-up executive you've ever had, we're going to throw them all in jail with you. That is what we need to do to get scammers to stop scamming people. Not give them a fine of less than 10% of what their thing is and tell them, oh, you can still keep operating. Just don't lie anymore. Our government's a piece of work. Ubuntu tried to make a phone and failed. Hey, TOS today. Total OS today. Oh, you changed your thing. Okay, awesome. But actually, though, in case you just jumped on, we went back to the site. UB Ports took over the Ubuntu project, so you can still. They're not manufacturing the phone, but they are working on the development ports. I wish Ubuntu had a solid video editor. Try KDE Live, but install the KDE Live from the PPAs to get the most recent version. Internet of Stings, snoops, hacks, and marketers. Yep. IoT will be largely abused by companies. It already is. People scamming over something like the hurricane or the lowest of the low. Yeah, we need to just drop them in the middle of a crazy riot of hurricane victims and see if they come out alive. I don't need the internet to open and close my door. Yeah, I know. I have these funky things called hands. I mean, they work. I mean, they can open and close doors, turn on, turn off light switches, and even open blinds. Internet of Things or information on tap. I think information on tap. I think it's information on tap. Yeah. IoT is what we'd call a burglar's dream. Yep, absolutely. It's putting Wall Street in jail. All of it. Pretty much. Is there a need to boil the kettle when I am out, especially when I can't see that there's no sodding water in it? Yeah, I have an electric kettle. I got rid of my coffee pot a while back as I approached minimalism, mostly because I realized that the coffee pot, how frequently the coffee pot was running, it easily could have cost me $10 or $15 a month to run the coffee pot. I mean, I had it running for 5 hours, and at 900 watts, 900 watts per hour is 0.9 kilowatt per hour. That adds up. Over the course of a month. And so I got rid of that, and I switched to boiling some water in an electric kettle and using a French press, and then just putting it in a insulated travel mug, and that keeps it warm most of the day. And then doing that saves me a lot of electricity. But it takes less than 5 minutes to boil water with that kettle. There's no reason I need a smart app, a smart alarm, or anything else with that stupid kettle, okay? You put the water in it, you push the button, and you go. There's nothing else that needs to be done with that. Any hacker that knows how to explore IoT will get away with many thefts, frauds, and burglaries. Yep. Hey, Sean Addison. New crappy Skype came to Linux. Yay! Yeah, actually, my Debian build here actually already runs the beta version, which I find, it's not bad. Although, was it yesterday or 2 days ago? It wanted my birthday. So, apparently I was born, I'm getting old. I think I was born January 1st, 1905, I think. It's the first date I could pick. Got some static on my audio, do I? Hopefully that'll solve it. Anyway, let's go ahead and have a look at our bad business. I don't have a bad business one. Let me change to a corporatocracy. Corporatocracy. Are you ready for the worst thing I've seen this week? Oh, this is scammy beyond all belief. PNC, who uses PNC in here? PNC has a new amazing feature. You would not believe it. So if you're unaware, if you're a younger person, you're unaware, when you take a check to the bank and deposit it, now if the check that somebody handed you is not at your bank, the funds are not immediately available. Now, the law says that they have to make those funds available within 24 hours if you have been a bank customer for more than 90 days, I believe. But you still have that 1 day delay. So if you go and you deposit your check and you need that money right now, you can now sign up for this awesome new things. PNC Express Funds. How does this work? When you deposit an approved check from your mobile phone, I am not ready to deposit checks from my mobile phone. But if you deposit checks from your mobile phone, you will now have the option for a fee. You can make all of those funds immediately available. Peace of mind, your money will be available right away. You have a bill due. You desperately need access to your deposited checks. You spent all your money auto-paying 100 different subscription services. Oh, wait, that's not there, is it? Oh, well. Anyway, it should be. How does it work? You make your mobile deposit. You choose the standard funds. You wait for access to funds, and then you can use the money. Oh, you have to wait. Or choose PNC Express Funds. You acknowledge the fee, which conveniently they don't tell you what it is. And you can use your money immediately. And see that bold immediately? Oh, there's a little 4. What's that little 4 say? Little 4. After capturing your check image, if the check qualifies, we will offer the choices for the standard funds at no charge. Approved checks are available for immediately withdrawal and or purchase for a fee of 2% of the check amount. A $2 minimum fee will apply. So $2 or 2% of your check amount. If a check is returned due to insufficient funds, PNC will not debit your account. If your deposit is completed before 10 p.m. Eastern, your funds will also be available to pay checks or items during nightly processing. If your deposit is completed after 10 p.m., your funds will be available on the next business day. With standard funds ability, no charge. Checks drawn on PNC will be available the evening of your deposit to pay checks or items presented that day. Okay, so basically you have to come down here and see the number 4 to see that it will cost you an extra $2. Guys, here's the problem with this. This is just like the people who have who are the unbanked people, okay? Now let me see if I can figure out what's the fee to go into Walmart. Walmart check caching fee. I spelled caching, computer caching. Okay, Walmart check caching fee. Let's see what Walmart actually charges. Okay, so here is the problem: is that the challenge with the check caching is people who need to take advantage of a service like this are generally in the lower income in the lower income periods. And so what happens is you have less money, but then more money goes into the fees. So it says a maximum fee for $3 up to $1,000, maximum fee $6 up to. They're not telling me much more. It's like a maximum fee of it. So what is the actual cost? So see, it's like $3, maximum fee of $3 for each transaction, up to and including $1,000, $6 for over. So it's not all that, but it still costs you some extra money to do this. And what PNC is doing is trying to cash in on this very thing of people who would go in, the people who would go in and need that money right away. So basically, you get into the habit of doing this. Now PNC is getting more money from you for any other reason. This is dangerous, and this sets a dangerous precedent. Let me know if other banks are doing this too. This is a curious thing to me that I think is a very, very scary thing and a very dangerous precedent to set. Let's see. This was the new one. You guys remember this Juicero company? Yeah, they decided to close their doors. So you bought the expensive juicer for like $700. Of course, they dropped the price down to like $500 because nobody could afford it. And then you get these processed things that guys, this is not juice, okay? Juice is made with fresh vegetables, not processed packages of crap that you squeeze through a $700 IoT device to get processed juice out of. Okay? But they finally figured out that $5 and $300 wasn't enough, or $500 was too expensive, and there was like $5 to $19 for it. So within the next couple weeks here, they'll be phasing this out. So if you bought your super expensive juicer, then sorry, we're going out of business now. It is now a paperweight. Of course, if you do happen to have one of these, if you contact them by December 1st, then let's see, if you have an active, okay. So let's see, you can request a refund of your purchase. I'm not sure if this is all of the refund of your purchase or a portion of it, but you know, this is the problem with buying into all these new technologies, and the reason I do not agree with buying all these new technologies is because we get into this situation where we just have too much stuff This could go down. What if you buy an IoT door lock opener and it either bricks or the company closes down and the thing has to interact with their servers? Now you have bought a super expensive IoT-enabled hackable device that now doesn't work. The hackers can work it, but the company can't. Go figure. Oh boy. So that's kind of scary stuff. Yeah, let me know if this static is better. Hopefully it got better. I didn't know we had static. French press for the win. Way better quality coffee. Absolutely. And I'll tell you, I still have the coffee pot down there. I saved it just in case. I have not had a single inkling of loading up the coffee pot anymore. I'm saving a lot of power. It just makes coffee just as fast. It is much better coffee. I love the French press. And the coolest thing is I'm a good bargain shopper. I found it at Ollie's for $10. This week on Fox News, a homeowner gets burglarized. Burglar hacked into the home system, disabled the security to access the home and steal. Week on CNN, hackers steal identities of homeowners by using the security cameras to obtain social security numbers. That's scary. How'd they do that? It's my money and I want it now. Yeah. I deposited a cashier's check at Bank of America and they told me there was a holding period. I threatened a lawsuit and they paid me interest for the holding period. Wow. Still hear static. I'll have to go back and listen to the video, see how it sounds. All right, are we ready for some net neutrality insanity? Net neutrality insanity. So, of course, the comment period ended this week. And so basically what happens is 98.5% of unique net neutrality comments oppose the anti-Title II plan. So now what the unique comments means in this instance is that what a company was hired, which by the way is a company hired by a bunch of IT like cable lobbyists. So it was already kind of biased data. But they looked at the form data, and then they looked at the individual independent comments, which were probably higher quality. 98.5% of people who actually took the time to write a real were opposing his plan. It's probably arguable that the other 1.5% probably wanted to oppose his plan, were just duped by the ISPs. And so what happens here, here is, let's see, let's just go over, this is the actual review. So basically they looked at all of the comments. So 21.7 million comments were made. Now, one thing that is still on here is all of the comments people requested they remove because they were comments that were made by a spam bot stealing their identities effectively. And so those are all included. So I would like to see this data if you took out all of those comments that were clearly false. But here's kind of your breakdown. It all boils down to like the amount of bots and form letters was pretty close to 50-50 favoring, it was actually 60-40 favoring keeping the plan exactly as it is. So overwhelmingly between the forms, between the bots, between everything else, all things taken together in a wash, FCC, leave the internet alone. This is how it should be. The companies want it this way, except for the ISP lobbyists. The consumers want this. The business wants this. In many instances, the government wants this. But of course, what did Pi say? There was a quote in here from him. Okay, so deadline for submitting comments is today. Pi had indicated that a number of comments opposing his plan will not cause him to change his mind. So in other words, yeah, tell us all your comments. I don't really care what your comments are. I'm just going to change the plan. This guy needs removed from his office and thrown in a jail cell. He is a public servant, for crying out loud. He's not a god of the internet. The internet has spoken. Remove this idiot. Shut his pie hole. Remove him. Maybe we should just impeach every single government official we can possibly impeach until somebody removes Pi from the FCC. Because he is clearly not acting as a public servant here. Of course, AT&T comes back and says, "Yeah, the most legitimate net neutrality comments favor repeal." AT&T, you're so screwed up in the head. Oh boy. Oh boy. Maybe there will be several new Will It Juice channels starting soon. Just came here to say that I like you, Tom. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Maybe the headphone jack. Yeah, not hearing any static. All right. It's my system. Yep, no problem. There'll even be IoT toys. Yeah, there are IoT toys. That's the problem. And I warn people with kids, young kids especially, do not get IoT toys in your device. They are just a bunch of spyware. Spying on your little children. It's like having dirty Uncle Eddie watch your children. Ooh, did I say that out loud? All right. Imagine the amount of data collection they can do on your children with the IoT toys. Oh yeah. No, actually, look up the things they already have done with the toys. Well, that brings us to the end of the articles. I will go ahead and drop the articles onto the video description here shortly. Let's see. Let's go ahead and end this show with feeding a cute kitty cat. Hey, kitty, we're ending the show. Come here. Come here. If you're new to the show, I always end the show with feeding the kitty. I would really like it if this company would like sponsor me. I mean, come on. This is the cutest part of the whole show. Oh, smell what's in there? Oh, you like that? You like that smell? Oh. Ready? There you go. Here you go. Yeah. Another one. Over here. And let's go ahead and watch him pick up one himself off the table. Ready? Set, whoa, where's it at? There you go. Aww. Is Tom and TJ saying? Sure. See this one, CJ. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a wonderful weekend. We'll catch you all later. We will see you guys later. Have yourself a wonderful evening.